My brother bought this in 1960. He after he went to Wentworth, he bought it when he graduated from Wentworth. He got and then he worked for EG&G here in the Boston area. In '66, he got a job with Motorola out in Scottsdale, and so he drove this with his then 2 toddlers out to Scottsdale, and there, used it as his regular car until the '70s, where he put it in the backyard and let it sit there. So he passed away, and my nephew had the car. I made a deal with my nephew, and I brought the car back to Massachusetts about 2003.
So this car has been in use for a while. Was this been a barn most of the time, or?
It was sitting outside in Scottsdale.
So did you have to? Was there a lot of sun damage or anything like
that?
Oh yeah. What did you have to do to fix it up?
Well, a lot. Everything.
Yeah.
But it was worth it to me. My first car was a '51 Dodge that my father had the whole time I was growing up. So this was my brother's car, and my father was always into Chryslers. So my high school car, the '51 Dodge, was the same body style, black 2-door club coupe. So when this came available in the family, it was like, I don't want another car. I want this car.
So what do you love so much about this car?
It brings me right back to my high school days.
Mostly nostalgia?
Yes, absolutely.
It's also a beautiful car.
Thank you.
When this first came out, what was this considered? What were the high points of this car?
Well, it has what they call a fluid drive.
Mm-hmm.
Going downhill, you'll find fluid drive means new ease of handling, just as in going uphill. For here too, the engine acts as a brake. And how it saves wear and tear on the temper and the nerves when you're in a stream of slow-moving traffic. No more exhausting shifting of gears into low and second. Just keep it right in high for stop-and-go driving. All you have to do is to give the accelerator a touch. Fluid drive provides marvelous flexibility. Suppose you wish a burst of speed to pass a car on the road. Just step on the accelerator, and away she goes. At your wish, fluid drive promptly delivers a surge of power from a snail's pace to 80 miles an hour, and without shifting gears. No need to shift gears when you stop at a traffic light. But if you do want to get away in a flash, Dodge Fluid Drive permits you to choose the gear you drive in.
I don't care what Harry says. I know my driving has improved. Why, I haven't sold the engine since we got our Fluid Drive Dodge.
So it's not a standard, it's not an automatic. And so you get going about 20 miles an hour, you take your foot off the gas, and there's a fluid coupler which will send you into the higher drive gear. It has a clutch, which you use to get in between your neutral, your reverse, and your drive. It also was the first year Chrysler did a padded dash. So besides that, it's a flathead 6, and you won't find another one like it, I don't think.
Is it fun to drive?
Like I said, it brings me right back to my high school days. Some people who like to step on the gas and go, it's not for them. It's not how fast you go, it's how fast you stop.
All right. Has your car eaten any kids today?
Not yet. The kids are enjoying it. We're putting everybody we can in it.
It looks like it's from a Mad Max movie.
Pretty much so. It's built for land speed racing. That's what it's for.
How did this happen?
By accident.
Did you build it yourself?
Yes, we built this in the backyard garage right here in Wellesley. Has not gone to a professional shop whatsoever. And hoping to get this out very shortly to race this at in Limestone, Maine, at the track up there, which is an abandoned Air Force base.
Okay, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yes. So we're trying to get another driver who is involved with this vehicle. He's also one of the fabricators here. We're trying to get his 200-mile-an-hour license for him. So that's mainly what we're doing.
And it's built up for safety in the inside quite a bit.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Most of the car is all about the safety, just as much as the speed.
Hello everyone, this is Steve Beach. We're back again at Wheels of Wellesley number 10. And as we had promised, we have a Datsun 240Z as one of the highlights of the show. Jeff Mader is the proud owner of this 1970 example. And this car has tremendous historical significance. So Jeff, give us a little background on the impact this had on the car industry in the North American market.
Yeah, well, it had a huge impact because everyone was driving British cars back then, Triumphs and MGs, and the reliability issue of the English cars, not to just rank on the British cars, because there was a lot of nice ones, but when this came about, the whole I think the big thing from the Japanese were they tailored it for the American market. You had leg room. It was made for a 6-foot, gentleman, woman, whatever.
Guy.
Yeah, big American guy. And the reliability greatly impacted, the car and its popularity. So, yeah.
So there was a dealer in Wilton, Connecticut, Bob Sharp Datsun.
Yeah.
Probably the most famous guy in the business for the 240Z launch. He was very well known as a person who would retrofit these cars for enthusiasts. And one of his buddies was none other than Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
So I don't know how many Zs were delivered through that store, but this brand, this model is synonymous with Wilton, Connecticut.
Yeah, it is. And Newman's association with the car was that he raced it, and they had great success. And I never realized it, but the racing is important. It helped the popularity of the car because it was winning. I'm not really into the whole racing thing, but I know that helped spur the brand, and it's just started going crazy as he started winning races.
And I do remember that this car did put the British car business out of business.
Well, it had an impact. I've had a few British cars, but yeah, it helped kind of. It put a little bit of a detour on. Let me think now. But it took a while for the car to get popular. My dad was an early owner. That's kind of my association with the car.
Okay.
And I was like 14, 15 years old, and my dad had one. And went down to the local Datsun dealership, and it was like a 9-month wait. You couldn't pick a color. Whatever you got, you got. And he was lucky enough. He was having some back issues. He went in to see the specialist for his back in 1970, and the doctor, they got talking about cars, you know, Mr. Mater, you know, oh, I'm a car guy, oh, so am I, you know, but they started talking about the Datsun, and he was going to England on sabbatical, and the car had, I think, 7,000 or 8,000 miles, and my dad ended up buying it from him.
What a shame, huh?
I know.
So anyway, we want to thank Bernardi Nissan for sponsoring Wheels of Wellesley 10, and we are so lucky to have someone knowledgeable to tell us about the historical impact of the Datsun 240Z.
I'm Demian with London Harness.
And I'm Jonathan.
And so what you got something new here today?
We have these, they're called U-Gears, and they're all made in Ukraine, and they're basically model cars, and they all move actually after you build them. We have about 8 different models here. We thought it was a great idea to have them during the wonderful car show that we're having here.
And these aren't plastic.
They are not. What are they made out of, Jonathan?
They're made out of balsa wood, very lightweight while also being durable. Makes for excellent model cars, and you actually punch out the pre-punch pieces yourself and assemble them.
Looks like these are for bigger kids.
Yes, they are. The age says 14 plus on the box, but really the plus is the key word there. It's good for all ages, any car enthusiast, anyone who is into the automotive industry.
I could definitely see you putting these together and putting them on display. Really beautiful. But they're not, are they particular cars, or are they kind of like...
What kind of models do we have today?
Yeah, so some are particular models, others are actually sort of their own imagination. For instance, here we have an old Cobra. And then over here we have what they call a Dream Cabriolet, which is actually a fusion of a few different models from the 60s, primarily of the Cadillac brand.
Well, we've carried U-Gears actually for many years, and they make all different kinds of models, from cars to boats to animals, treasure chest, globes, you name it. They have, I think, over 100 different options. But we thought for today it would be ideal to bring in all the cars.
Rick, how'd you get this car away from Bruce Wayne?
Wise guy. This is a 2020 Ford GT. I was granted an allocation back in 2018. You had to put an allocation request into Ford to get one of these, and I was lucky enough to get an allocation. So it was built in January of 2020. I went up to see it being built in Toronto, Canada, and I received it in the end of February of 2020. And I've got about 5,000 miles on it in 3 years. So I drive it.
It looks like it's fun to drive.
It's a blast. Yeah.
You ever take long trips in it?
No. Short trips.
Okay.
Short.
How did you decide on this car?
Well, again, I'm a Ford GT fan. There are 3 generations of the Ford GT. The original in the 60s, which I've got a 66. 05, 06, I've got an 05, and now I've got a 2020. So I've got all 3 generations of the car.
What makes this car distinctive?
A lot of different things. I mean, this car was conceived to go back to Le Mans 50 years after they originally won in 1966, the Ford Motor Company. and they won in 2016 with the car. So it was an anniversary of 50 years that they went back and won with this very car.
What do you love most about it?
Gee, I don't know, driving it, yeah.
You must get a lot of looks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's started out as a 49 Ford F1 pickup truck, and it's got modifications pretty much to everything. It's a 38 Ford grill. It's got a 32 Ford front end. It's got a Dana 60 rear end with a turbo 400 transmission. The engine is a 468 big block. It's got a 55 Chevy dash, and everything's pretty much custom, exhaust, everything.
Poke salad in it. The gators got you granny. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama was a working on a chain gang. Sock a little poke salad to me. I need me a mess of it. Good God. Got to have me.
I built it completely myself.
This looks like a ton of work.
Yes, it took 7 years to get it to where it is now. Well, I have a 72 Chevelle convertible, and I wanted something I could put my dogs in, so I was able to find this. I paid $450 for it and put it all together, built it piece by piece, a lot of custom stuff done to it. And I just want to be able to put my dogs in it and take them for cruises. If you look at the steering, the 55 Chevy dash came out too high. So I built this to bring the steering down instead of using linkages. And that seems to be an eye catcher for a lot of people. Yeah.
Ate her up.